One cliché about getting older is absolutely true. Time gets faster and faster and faster. It is 25 years since Denise Welch and Matthew Kelly met on Stars in Their Eyes. So that would have been 1999.
Yeah, it was.
It seems about 10 minutes ago. But they're back together again as they tread the boards for a brand new play, which they'll tell us about in a moment, along with a lot of other stuff. But first, a quick reminder of their very first meeting on screen.
Wonderful.
Oh, my God.
Did you win?
Well, no, I didn't win. I'll tell you who won. Kirsty Young did Peggy Lee.
She did.
She was amazing. But what happened was, when I went through the smoke, before I came out and said to... well, I said, tonight, Matthew, went through. The jib, the big camera that goes across, broke 5 hours before I came back out. The audience were like this.
Yeah. Was it worth the wait?
It was worth the wait.
So worth it.
Yeah.
Matthew, very often people come up to you in the street, don't they, and say, oh, do that phrase, do that phrase from Stars in the Eyes.
And I can't because my name's in it. But I'm very proud to be the Matthew in tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be.
Of course.
Isn't that...
As you say to people, I'm the last, like, literally, of all the people who say it, it's not me. I'm not going to say.
Not even my real name. It's not. My real name's David.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it? I didn't know
Did
that.
you not know that?
No.
Yeah.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be David.
Yes.
Oh, yes, if you like.
What do you think the secret of hit Saturday night telly is? What have the hit shows got in common?
Well, I don't really watch it now, so I don't really know. Well,
is that because you're always on stage, or is that because you're watching streaming?
I'm always on stage now, yes. I do nearly always theatre. And, of course, in those days, there were only, like, 4 channels. And the whole family used to get together and watch shows. And I can't really watch them now. Of course, we'll be doing, 2 shows every Saturday.
Yes, we will.
Up in Manchester.
We will indeed.
So was it you? Did you want to work together, or did the playwright Jim Cartwright? What did he say?
Jim Cartwright. Matthew had sort of workshopped this new play, The Gap, by Jim Cartwright, who was certainly my favourite contemporary writer.
This is the North-South gap, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Well. There's many reasons for that. There's many gaps, and in our memory a lot of the time. But never mind. It's so basically. I did a little voice for Jim at the Royal Exchange in 2004 and subsequently another play. And doing a Jim Cartwright play, I have to say, is a bit like childbirth. You love it, you love the results so much, you forget how difficult it is, but you then agree to another one.
Yeah, it's very like poetry, and this is very like Talking Heads as well.
Well, give us the plot.
The plot is 2 friends who've known each other for over 50 years but haven't seen each other for 50 years. They run away from the Northwest
when they're
down
about
to London
16.
In the 60s. And we play ourselves as teenagers, and we play ourselves all the way through life.
How do you manage that?
Right, with great difficulty, I can tell you. I was struggling. And then there's a chance...
Sorry, I'm lingering on this. Do you have prosthetics?
No, we have about 3 seconds to change.
You mean right now?
No, we don't. We basically make a nod to our younger selves. So the play starts with Walter, Matthew's part, in sheltered housing, and me in an old people's home. And we are talking to journalists similar to yourselves for reasons that will become, you know. And so we are talking out to the audience. But Jim writes in what we call non sequiturs. Yeah. So there's a lot of the play where Walter is in the north and Coral is in the south. So you are talking to the audience as the journalist on completely different subjects. So it's not like, what are you having for tea, Walter? I'm having bacon and egg. There is parts of that, but very much there's these sort of non-linear stuff. So it's a wonderful piece of writing.
We each play between 7 and 10 parts. We play all the other parts in the play.
With a nod to the character.
It's called The Gap. It's at the Hope Mill Theatre in Manchester from the 9th of February. I want to ask you about another gap, the Chivalry gap, because we've been debating throughout the programme this morning what you do when someone stands up for you on a train.
A man for a woman.
Or would you stand up on a train for somebody?
Yes, always.
Because,
and always
of course,
accept as well.
Chris Kamara talked about this.
For Chris when I read what he'd said. How rude of that person. You can just say no thank you, but thank you for asking. I was on a tube, not going very far the other day, just up to see my mum-in-law in Stevenage. And this lady, who was a bit younger than me, just said, you know, I'm only going to Stevenage. Would you like to sit down? And I said, I am as well, but thank you very much for asking. I would never dream of being... This lady was rude to Chris. Said, why would I want that seat?
Oh, I always... I walk with a stick now, and I never not get a seat. People always give me a seat. And I said to a friend the other day, I said, you want to try this? carry a stick on the tube. It'd be marvellous. Always get a seat. And she said, oh, it doesn't always work. She said, my partner's got one leg and he doesn't always get a seat.
What?
Yeah.
Well, what about the more Edwardian sort of period, then, of a gentleman always offering a lady his seat? Nothing to do with infirmity, nothing to do with age, simply because she's female.
Well,
and
I
he's
think
male.
it's... I'm a great believer in courtesies, old-fashioned as they may be.
You don't think it's sexist or patronising or dated?
I wouldn't see it as that. Many people would. I would think it was just a very nice gesture.
Well, he thinks... He said it makes him feel like a dinosaur.
It doesn't
He
make
feels
me
foolish.
feel... It doesn't. I probably wouldn't... I probably wouldn't take the seat necessarily, but I think it would be a very nice offer.
I would open the door for a gentleman as well as a lady.
Yes, and I would.
Don't see it
and I
as
would.
anything like that. That is one of the many gaps that is represented within our play, and there are many gaps, I find.
There's also a gap...
Geographical.
A gap to do with stocking top and knicker ridge.
Oh.
Oh, you see now.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Didn't you post
gap
rather a racy photograph to do with that?
I did indeed.
I'm not even sure we can show it
Oh,
at
I'm
this
sure
time
we
of the
can.
morning.
Is it there?
I did
Very
indeed.
underlined.
I'd love to see it.
Can we see it?
Have
I
we got it?
posted it on Instagram to give a hint of what Coral's former career was in this play. And you'll realise why the two of them
Well,
come
the census
together.
have stepped in.
That's a tease.
And at just before 9 o'clock in the morning, we'll only have to leave that to our
I
imagination.
can't wait to be in it.
Or have we overruled the censors this morning?
Let's overrule the censor.
There we are. So I'll leave it to your imagination as to what the gap also may refer to.
Oh, my days. Right, Denise
Amazing.
and Matthew. Wonderful to see you. Thank you very much
Thank you so much
indeed.
for having
Thank you
us.
very
Thank
much.
you.